microgreens. What do you actually mean by microgreens? So microgreens are young vegetable greens that are approximately 1 to 3 inches tall, very small. They have a very high aromatic flavor, and they have huge concentrated nutrient contents in them, and they come in various colors. So 3 major important characteristics are the flavor, the nutrient content, and the color. Okay, the flavor to please the mouth, to please the sense of the taste, the color to please the eyes, which is very appealing, very attractive, and the nutrient content, which helps in making a lot of nutrients, especially vitamins A, C, K, and also for antioxidants, so many nutrients. So microgreens are considered as the baby plants. They fall somewhere in between a sprout and a baby green. It's not a sprout, okay, and it's not a baby green. They are in between. They are when the fresh cotyledons or the embryonic leaves have fully developed. Okay, the first 2 leaves have fully developed, and the first 2 leaves have emerged. Say around 3 to 4 leaves in the plant. Then the plant becomes a microgreen. So it depends upon the seed variety or the type of seed. Microgreens could be harvested from the 7th to the 15th to the 21st day. Some crops come off, radish and mustard come off by 7 days. Some other crops take around 15 days. Broccoli and all this take around 15 days. And the others like cress and celery takes around 3 weeks for us to get it harvested. So people around, scientists, they see microgreens as a functional food. I'll explain you what is a functional food, which means that they can provide key nutrients directly to the body. These microgreens are the superfoods. You have got a few superfoods like like the kale. You talk about moringa. You talk about wheatgrass. Now, microgreen is also a superfood. It is one of the best superfoods because, as I told you, it contains high volumes of nutrients. So this is basically a microgreen. So this is the size, and this is the color, and this is the texture, and this is the aroma. What you can see there in the picture is a microgreen that we cultivated. This is radish microgreen. The radish variety name is daikon, and it has a purple stem and green leaf. So when you harvest this, so you don't harvest the seed part, you just harvest the stem and the leaves, and you garnish it to your dishes. You garnish it to all sorts of any day-to-day eatable items like a pasta or pizzas or even normal food items. Any traditional foods also, you could garnish them. So when you eat this, you could put it in your salads. You will get the taste and the pungency of radish, of a white radish, but you will not be able to find the actual radish as a root crop there. So that's the magic of these microgreens. So there are various types of flavors, various types of colors. If you're mixing it into your salad, which is usually bland, made of lettuces and other leaves, if you put in some of say mustard, a few mustard microgreens, a few radish microgreens, or maybe a few pea microgreens, you will get the taste and the aroma and the color of a microgreen, which will be giving you, great satisfaction to eat and also to have your nutrient availability in your body. So let's talk about the history. Microgreens were started off in 1980s. It's quite a recent addition in San Francisco. They initially called it rainbow mix. So this is how they used to sell it as a rainbow mix. You could see chives. The long ones here are chives. Okay, this is the basil, purple basil. This is sunflower shoots, and behind you can see red amaranth, and you can see celery and cress. So this is a mixture, so that they have different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and all different, fully flavored. So each of them is fully flavored. That's the reason they made it a name of rainbow mix. Basically, these are microgreens, and these are live. What I mean by live is the plants are still growing. See, there is a small base here, So this contains a small media. It could be a sponge media, it could be rock wool, it could be any sort of small grow media like a cocoa peat coir, okay, cocoa coir. And then the plants are sown in this directly. And these plants are kept in this tray, whereby you can put water from here. So they just keep the media wet. So the plants could be growing in another 3-4 days also at your place. Like when you're ordering it from the shop, you commit like this, and you may not be, the hotel industry may not use the whole thing in one day. So they cut a few of these, and use it as per, and they are used very sparingly. They are not used in bulk. They're used just for garnish or for some sort of decoration on the plates. Why is it a superfood? Superfood microgreen, why? Very important point, because none of us understand exactly these small plants could give this much of nutrition to us. See, they provide more nutrition than mature leaves. When you talk of a cabbage, okay, we will be discussing about it. A full cabbage, it is high in vitamins and all that. But when you talk about microgreens, it is the storehouse of all that nutrients that are required for its germination and for its life, and to start its life for the first few days of germination. So it is packed with nutrients. They have highest antioxidant capacity and health promoting phenolic compounds. So they are high in vitamin C. Say, for example, I have mentioned here 100 grams of red cabbage microgreen. It has 147 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, but a mature cabbage has 57 grams of the same volume. When you're talking about 100 grams, you take red cabbage microgreen, it has 147. 100 grams you take of red cabbage, big one, already mature red cabbage, which is harvested in around 55 to 60 days. If you take the red cabbage, that will have lesser vitamins. Vitamin K is highest in amaranth microgreen. So each of the microgreen has one particular element, one particular nutrient, which is very rich, especially vitamins or phenolic compounds. And see, it is also loaded with beta carotene. All the microgreens are loaded with beta carotene. Beta carotene reduces risks of all diseases. It is basically a immunity booster. It reduces the risk of most of the diseases related to heart. Carrot is considered to have the highest beta carotene. Sorry. Carrots are considered to have highest beta carotene, which is 100 grams has 8 milligrams. Okay, but a microgreen carrot has 12 milligrams. So you have got 4 milligrams more in a microgreen. Vitamin E in the same way. 100 grams of micros has 8 to 127 milligrams of vitamin E. Vitamin E, I'm talking about especially alpha tocopherol and gamma tocopherol. These are very, very essential vitamins for the human body, which are required in micro quantities. So, which are not available to the human body if you say you are eating a bigger carrot or a bigger cabbage. But if you're talking of microgreens, then you get your desired requirement for your body. So daily requirement of vitamin E for an adult is 15 milligram. So, if he has these microgreens, if he just takes a few of these microgreens in his daily food, if he adds them, that will help him out in getting all his vitamins and minerals and phenolic compounds and everything. See, I just wanted to show you a few microgreens, which are the common microgreens, which are generally used all over the world, and even in India, it has caught everyone's fascination. So high-end HoReCa segment, hotels, restaurants, and caves use these microgreens for their plating purposes, for presentation, for plating, and also they use in their salads. They use in all their dishes, which gives them different flavors, different colors, and it is also nutritious. Most common among them are amaranth, okay, arugula. Arugula is the wild rocket, okay. Basil, it could be the sweet Italian basil, basically the sweet Italian basil green, and the purple basil, okay. When you talk of beet, I'm talking of the beetroot, the normal beetroot. It is called beet bull blood. What you can see here is the beet bull blood. This is the beet bull blood, okay. It is the variety which gives completely red color, and it is burgundy red. Then you have the broccoli, which give you the broccoli taste, the cabbage, the celery, chards. The chards give you 3 different colors. The stem has 3 different colors. They are red, they are yellow, and they are green. So it is a mix. Cress is the normal, and kale is also a superfood. Mustard, you get a very strong pungent taste. Mizuna, pak choy, dill, and radish. Here, this is an amaranth, okay, and this is amaranth red and green, and this is mustard. So these are few of the microgreen seeds. Also, you could do many others, but these in general are accepted microgreens internationally. I'm just want to tell you, okay, why do you want to grow microgreens? Why grow? So it is very easy, requires no expertise, and it is harvested in 2 weeks time maximum. If you're talking of some varieties like cress, it takes 3 weeks, but you could grow the lesser varieties ones, the lesser time taking ones. It is ideal for urban operations, less space. There is no requirement of any huge spaces. It requires maximum the size of your dining table, maybe, to produce microgreens that could feed your local community or your local restaurants nearby. Healthy, delicious, returns on investment is instant. It's within 15 days, and it fights malnutrition. That's why it's called a functional food. As I mentioned earlier, functional food, health promoting and disease preventing. So it fights malnutrition, and you can grow 17 to 24 crops a year depending upon the seed. So all crops, for example, cucumber, you grow 3 crops a year maximum. It's a 3.5 to 4 month crop. Tomatoes, you do 1 crop a season, 1 crop in a year. This you could do 17 to 24 crops, because it's an average of 15 to 20 days. If you take, you will get number of crops more, thus increasing your ROIs, instant ROIs. So, and when I'm talking of no expertise, what I would like to explain here is, see, you just need to have a small bed. It could be a surface which is wet. It could be also your tissue paper. In simple ways, when you're talking of urban operations, you're talking of at home, you just take a few layers of tissue paper, make it wet, okay, and spread broadcast your seeds over it, whatever seeds. Let's talk of mustard seeds or radish seeds or broccoli or any seeds. Just spread your seeds. Let the seeds have some moisture in that. Cover it up for the first 1 or 2 days. Have a look at it, cover it up, and then just remove the cover and just keep it under your normal lights in your house. Then you will see the sprouts coming up, and then it will turn into microgreen. This is just for experiment purpose at your home. But if you want to do it commercially, you need to have some sort of mat below. It could be a cocoa peat grow mat. It could be a normal foam sponge, a normal sponge, agricultural sponge, or a normal sponge that is used in upholstery industry. That also could be done. Just spread it down, make it wet, see that the sponge is always wet, spread the seeds over it, cover it for 1 or 2 days to give it the darkness, to break the to break the germination. Sorry, excuse me. Then after that, what happens is the sprouts do come. So this is how it is grown in. We will explain it to you in details in the next slides. See, now people get confused between microgreen and sprouts. There are lots of grocery shops, even in the corner of your roads or of your streets. There are small shops who sell sprouts. But the difference between microgreen and sprouts is microgreens are this. They are fully developed stem, leaves, and hence have more nutrition. They have a stem and they have a set of leaves. Sprouts are just germinated seeds. You have only the plumule coming up. Okay, it is less nutritious, grown in water, high moisture, high humidity. It is repeatedly soaked so that you have the plumule growing faster. It is grown in dark and very low light to give it that. This is a mung bean sprout. Okay, thus ideal conditions for pathogenic bacteria, salmonella, and E. coli. So the sprouts, when you compare with microgreens, are quite dangerous. In fact, if not grown properly, if not taken proper care, because it is repeatedly soaked, it is wet. So if you're doing it at a home, please be very careful with that. And if you're buying it in the shop, just check the authenticity of the grower, because it leads to a lot of diseases, a lot of stomach issues. Because usually people think, take it granted that the sprouts are really good. Yes, they are good, they are healthy, but it may lead to some other issues and some other problems. So instead of that, if you could go in for microgreens at home, which will give you more nutrition than compared to this, and also it will give you it will not give you any health issues. Now, very interesting, yields. See, once I'm talking of square meters, okay, 1 square meter needs 150 gram seeds, which produces 500 grams of microgreens. So when you're talking of 1 square meter of microgreens, just put only 150 grams, because they are very close. They're very close. You can see how closely they are sown. So that will produce half a kg of microgreens. So I'm expecting these microgreens to cost somewhere around 800 to 1000 rupees per kilo in India. Depends upon the location. Okay, and that will give you the best ROIs. See, the growing medium. I mentioned to you about the growing medium. Here, what I was using is a rock wool grow slab. Okay, we could use a rock wool grow slab, or you could use any other media. The only thing is the media should be highly absorbent and food safe. There should not be any sort of micro things leaching into the foods. No contaminants. Sorry, no contaminants. The potting soil also could be used. When you talk about potting soil, it is organic. It contains high levels of nitrogen. So just take the potting soil, okay, mix it properly, sieve the potting soil so that it becomes a very fine dust-like of thing. Put the potting soil into your container, small container, or a plate, or a bowl, flat bowl. Spray it on that. What we do is we put it in punnets. I'll show you the next slides. We'll put it in punnets commercially, small punnets. Put the potting soil below, or the coco peat below, or the grow mat, and make it wet. We give it a ebb and a flow, flood and drain type of system, because these containers, punnets, have holes beneath. So we place the containers in a tray, and we flood the tray and drain the tray. So when the tray is flooded, the roots absorb this material. I mean, whatever material you use, absorbent material, it could be potting soil or coco peat or grow mats, they absorb all the water and supply it to the root zone of the microgreen. And then this is regularly done. And for your information, we do not use any sort of nutrients in this water. It is just plain drinking water, because we are not keeping the plant to grow and bear fruits and give it a very strong start. We are just using it on the 10th or the 15th day. So we don't need to have any sort of nutrients. People usually mistake that they start giving nutrition. It's just an 8 to 10 day plant, so you don't need any sort of nutrition. So just give plain drinking water, which with a proper pH and EC, say around drinking water, say around 5.5 to 6.5, and maybe 150 to 250 ppm. There are different types of sponges, foam sponge, stone wool. You can see this here, this is a stone wool. Or you could also mix a combination of peat moss, perlite, vermiculite, and just mix them and put them in 2 inch shallow trays generally. Potting soil also is done that way. Coco peat is also done in that way, but you need to crush the coco peat, sieve the coco peat, remove all the fibers, take the soft part, which is very porous, spread across, and grow the microgreens at home or for commercial purposes. Both the purposes will be served. See, there are different types of grow trays. This is a plastic shallow tray. Let's talk of punnets in the next slide. Okay, plastic shallow trays. These are just tray. This is a commercial production, so I have taken long trays, which is around 3 meters in length. We maintain a gradient, and the tray has below, you can see here below, the white thing there, okay, this white thing here, this is a simple upholstery sponge. It's just a sponge with lots of, it's a low density sponge, not a high density sponge, because it is porous. Then we put a drip line from here, put water from here, the water slips down, flows from here and gets to that drain there, and the water is collected. And of course, it depends upon your system whether you want to reuse the water, because lot of water is not used. Then what we do, we spread the seeds. This comes standard sizes of 30 centimeter sheets. Okay, 30 centimeter by 20 centimeter. This is the standard size here. It could be of any size. You could cut the sheets. 30 centimeter by 20 meter sheet, spread it across. Sow the seeds. You did not soak the seeds. You just have to sow the seeds, and then depending upon the germination of the seed, you see here it takes time for germination. These are very small seeds. This is the radish. This is the mustard. So they have germinated faster. And see, this is the cress. So it takes time to germinate. This is the cress. Here is the cress. So it depends upon the size. So as and when your sheets are ready, you can, if this sheet is ready, it takes 8 to 10 days. You can remove the sheet because they are not connected. They are just 30 centimeter sheets. Remove the sheet and supply it directly to the client in a box or in a container. Or what you could do is you cut the sheets into smaller pieces if the requirement is of smaller sizes, or you could directly harvest them. You can just harvest the top, mix all the varieties and sell to the customers as a microgreen mix salad. So you could put different colors and different shapes and different sizes. It looks very interesting. You could sell them in a 50 to 100 gram punnet size, because the consumption is not very high in for microgreens. You just cannot make a very big packet of microgreens. So this is where you use a shallow tray. It could be any type of tray, any type of material that doesn't leach plastics. Okay, this is PP, polypropylene plastic. So this doesn't leach any sort of microplastics into the food. So this is one method of growing microgreens in plastic shallow trays. Then we have the punnets. As I told you, these are punnets. These are usually used to supply. You might have seen them in shops selling mushrooms, right? Mushrooms come in this. So we could use these same things. We need to punch holes beneath. Okay, we need to make holes in beneath, and then just spread them. Put a small coir mat or a sponge or cocoa peat media down there, very thin layer, maximum 1.5 to 2 inches. Keep it very tight. Sow the seeds and just give the water as ebb and flow. You know, this is kept into a tray. Then you flood and drain. So whatever water will be absorbed by the media, it will go into the root zone and the plants will grow. See, these I have kept here. See, these are the cress. This is mustard. Okay, so these and this is the radish also. So you have got all this. See, this is fully grown. Some clients want it to be fully grown. They want it a little bigger. Some want it very small. Some want it medium. So this is the level of the requirement of the clients. So this is a very simple technique, easy to do. See, interesting. So healthy white roots give rise to healthy plants. See, this is a mat, okay, a grow mat, and below the grow mat you can see all these seeds. This is a root mat. So it is maximum around 12 to 15 days crop. Okay, this is broccoli. What I have done is I have just removed the whole plant from beneath to show you the roots. So you always have to have white roots because they absorb nutrients. These roots act as a conduit, okay, a passage. They provide storage of food for the plant. They anchor the plant. So you need to have a base. It could be, as I mentioned, any sort of media. Then you should sow. Then you have these roots here. The beautiful roots will give you a beautiful plant and a healthy plant. The white roots are very important for hydroponics or any sort of cultivation, especially hydroponics. If you just lift the plant and see, when you're talking of NFT, you can see the roots completely white. So the roots have to be white for its growth. Now, packaging. See, there are pre-packed containers. See, this is what I told you, you don't give it lives as a microgreen. You harvest the microgreen. You can harvest the microgreen with the scissors, put it into a small clamshell container. It gives you like this, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. So, and with various levels of nutrients in it. So this is packaging where you have it in a salad clamshell container. The next is these are live. This is the punnets with the grow media. It is generally called Sapura mix in the market. So you have these different types of microgreens. It comes or depends on the sizes. It comes 8, it comes 9, it comes 10. They have with the grow media. So this could be ordered by the restaurants or the hotels. And what they do is, as I told you, they keep it with them over a period of 3-4 days. So because it also has a media, they keep watering them, and then it just keeps them alive and fresh, and they could harvest it from their kitchen top and supply it to the client's dishes, or by garnishing or any sort of savory items they could do. It could be used for plating. So these punnets go with the grow media, and these are called live microgreens because they're still alive. For you to understand and to select what type of microgreen is required and what is the requirement of the of the restaurant or the hotel industry. For example, if you want the tastiness, the spiciness, amaranth is very soft. Okay, it is red in color. Arugula is very, very spicy. It is it's like more spicy than your mustard. Okay. And then the color is green. You have purple basil, which tastes like a clove. It's burgundy red, burgundy color. Okay. Beet bull's blood, which is a beetroot. Okay. We don't use the root. We use only the microgreens. It is soft to taste, and it has a purple color. So depending upon the colors, you could choose. Depending upon the taste, you could choose. Celery has a very celery taste. Okay, it is dark green in color. Chives, we use the garlic chives. Okay, the chives are very garlicky in taste. They are green. They are long. Okay, cress. When you're talking of cress, it could be upland cress, or it could be any type of light green or evergreen cress. It is very peppery in taste. Little spicy, little peppery. It is green. Mizuna is again mild mustard, like a mustard, but little mild. It is green. Then kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is the null kohl, what you use. It is mild, okay, but it's very good color, purple in color. Then you have mustard, a variety in mustard called Osaka purple, which is mainly used as a microgreen. It is a pungent tasting mustard. It is violet in color. And for radish, you have got various types of colors. You have got purple, you have got green, you have dark red. When I'm talking of the colors, it is the color of the stem, mostly color of the stem, except for amaranth and for sorrel, even the leaves are also colorful. Swiss chard has the stem and the veins. You have yellow, red, and green. Okay, this is a very important orac. Okay, this is a very dark red. It is called dramatic dark red. So you can just understand the colors that are there in the food, and of course the nutrient content. Sorrel is sour in taste. It is acidic, and it has got a green and a red color. So you have got various types of colors, and sorrel is widely used in microgreens and also in salads, because each of the leaf has a pattern. On the leaf there is a pattern. The leaves are green in color, but it has got red color veins. So this forms a very nice combination when you present your cuisine, your dish to the clients, and it has got a very tangy taste. So whatever cuisine or dish or salad you're making will give you that beautiful tangy taste, depending upon the client's interest to eat either tangy or pungent or soft or clovey or peppery. So you could select these crops grow them for ultimate use in the hotel industry. And this is a market which is high-end. It is consumed by high-end restaurants, fine dining restaurants, star restaurants, and also in in bakeries. You see, you will ask me how in bakeries, because in the bakery segment, we have got different types of bakery. I'm not talking about the typical bakery nowadays. It's the high-end bakery segment, whereby you order some things and then it is presented in a platter, and then these small microgreens, just to give you that special effect of the color and the taste, is spread all over the platter to give you a very nice feel, a very nice taste, and of course the nutrition. So briefly, this is my presentation for today, and I just need to have a few queries. Whichever is there from your side, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to answer all your queries. Dr. Raja? Yeah, Dr. Raja. There is some network issue, I believe. I cannot hear you, Dr. Raja. Just if you can leave your queries in the chat box, then I will reply it via the mic. I think you can hear me. There is a bandwidth problem at your center.
Can you?
Am I audible? Shall I answer the questions? Because it will take a lot of time for me to type in. So what about use of cotton cloth? Yes, cotton cloth could be used. Very good. But when you're presenting it as live microgreens, when usually what happens is the hotel industry uses the whole plant itself. They don't just cut it. They just remove also even the roots, because the roots have a very nice flavor. So when they pull it out from the cotton cloth, you have got cotton fibers maybe attached to it, so that may cause some sort of physical contamination, and it is risky when you're doing it in the hotel industry. So at home, okay, you could use it, and you should be cutting the stems from it, but not in the commercial field. That's why I mentioned any sort of grow media. It could be any sort of grow media. At home, there is no investment at all. Okay, let me just come. You just have your, for example, let's take mustard seeds. You should be having mustard at your home, because most Indian cuisine, they use mustards for splattering for the at homes. So just take a small sheet of any grow media in your house, whatever you have. As the other gentleman mentioned about cotton cloth, just spread it in a clamshell container, in any sort of container which you buy your croissant or your cakes which come. So use that container, make holes beneath, put your sheet, grow sheet, put the seeds, and leave it there. And as you are having a good background of agriculture, you should be knowing like how much water to put. Don't overwater it. Don't take over care of it. Otherwise, they will die. And then what happens is you have to cover it up for the first 1 or 2 days, so that there is the dormancy breaks, and then leave it onto your windowsill near the window. Cost benefit ratio when compared to conventional method. Microgreens are not grown in the conventional method. When you're talking of conventional method, I understand that you're talking about growing it in some soil or in the open fields. It is not done, because microgreens cannot withstand that type of temperature. Sorry, not temperature, that kind of media, because you have got a lot of sand or soil flying into it, getting into it, irrigation becomes a problem. Okay, so the best method is the flood and drain. You grow them in small pinnets in ebb and flow system. Flood and drain, ebb and flow. Okay, so that's the system of growing of cultivating microgreens.
Sir, can we use the same medium again and again, or can we use it?
Very good question. I like such questions to come. Yes, if you're talking of coir fiber mat, if you're talking of sponge, okay, the sponge, the foam sponge which is used in upholstery, it could be used again and again. Coir mat, of course, not very long time, but we use commercially, we use the foam, and we use the upholstery foam. What we do is, after harvesting is done, we don't supply it live. Okay, we supply it as harvested. So when the foam is with us, we clear the foam, clean it, drench it in some in some fungicide, keep it to dry, and then wash it again and then use, just to avoid any sort of fungal contamination. It could be reused until its life is over.
So can we get to that special seeds for microgreens, or that same seeds which we are using it? Can we use it for microgreen?
Yes, great. See, microgreen seeds are different. They are all untreated seeds. Okay, so that's why I said the seeds what you use at your home from the grocery shop, like fenugreek, you can get mustard, maybe some other seeds. You can get chive seeds, you can get fennel seeds. So all these seeds which you get in the grocery market, you could use it for your cultivation at home. But for commercial purposes, there are seed companies who grow microgreen seeds only for microgreen purposes, and they sell it in bulk, and they are not treated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other question, participant? I will unmute everyone.
There'll be some singers today if you unmute.
Okay, so dear participant, I have unmuted to everyone. So please interact with the sir. It's the last chance you can interact with him. Sir, unmute yourself. I think in that process you have muted.
I've also been muted. Okay. See, someone asked me about master's degree.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Satyajit.
For your wonderful presentation, sir.
Can't hear.
I want to ask you that what about the shelf life of these microgreens in normal?
See, the live microgreens, when you supply to the client,
conditions and cooling. Just tell me.
I can't hear your question, Satyajit, but let me try to answer whatever I heard. Your question is that, okay, the life,
yes.
The shelf life of microgreens is just for 2 to 3 days if you're doing it harvested, and it should have the complete cool chain maintained, okay, of 4 to 6 degrees, 5 degrees cool chain maintained. If you're talking of live microgreens, yes, if you have it supplied with live microgreens, then it could stay up to 1 week, because it keeps growing. You have to maintain the water level, the moisture level in the media. It keeps growing. It will grow a little more bigger. It may produce a little more bigger leaf. It depends upon the hotel or the industry which is using it. If they would like to have it that way, it will stay for 7 days. But for a harvested microgreen, the maximum is 3 days, 2 to 3 days. Hydroponics,
okay,
master's degree.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
My second question is, sir, what is the purpose of coco peat in that, sir?
It's just a media. It is just a grow media.
Then, as told by you, we can use it second or third times also. But is there any chances of contamination is there?
See,
or what sort of sterilization we have? I
have answered that question of Dr. Raja had asked me. See, we don't reuse all these material. Coco peat we don't reuse. We reuse only the sponge. Only that upholstery sponge can be reused. That too, we need to remove all the roots beneath, soak it in a fungicide or a bactericide or anything, dry it. After it is dried completely, we wash it with normal water and reuse it. Okay. Commercial value added product from microgreens. The commercial added value from microgreens is a very higher step. What are people doing now is they are drying these microgreens, okay, and adding it to tea, to a normal tea. So they call it, for example, they call it mustard, they call it radish, they call it broccoli. So it is dried and it is mixed in a little way to the original tea leaves. I don't know what type of tea leaves they use, but it is added that way. And there is no other value addition. It is added to a mixed salad. When you're talking of supplying mixed salad to a restaurant, so you add this microgreens onto that mixed salad. So that mixed salad, which is usually bland, will give you a better taste.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, is there any microgreen startup at a commercial level in India?
Yes, there are many. There are many microgreen startups in India, and they are in Delhi. And there is also one in Imphal. Okay, one Mr. Neeraj is doing that. I'm not very aware of his company's name, but there are many. There are many microgreens in all the cities everywhere. There are many startups. There are companies which are selling in Delhi NCR, in Delhi, in Bombay, in many places. There are many startups. See, they they don't require any sort of nutrients. They just have to have a very good climatic condition because they are very much susceptible to algal and fungal problems. So you have to just take care of that by maintaining the temperature, humidity, and the moisture level in the media. That's it. Microgreens is picking up in India. Someone asked me what's the status of microgreens. It's picking up in India, and there are many companies who are doing it. There are many farms who are doing it, and they don't need much space also for that. But the system of production should be very, very strict. They should follow strict protocols of production to avoid any sort of contamination. And then market is ever ready to buy your produce if it is of good quality. There is no master's degree in hydroponics in India. There is no master's degrees in any universities all over the world. But there are some sort of vocational courses, some sort of short duration diploma type of courses in some universities. The best university I could recommend is, you can go in for online, which is in the University of Arizona in USA. Okay. It comes under University of Arizona CEA, Controlled Environment Agriculture. So there you have a hydroponics section which deals directly with hydroponics. Yeah, Urban Farms, Neeraj. Yeah, great. He's always on my discussion forum. So this gentleman also produces microgreens, or he should have done microgreens any time in his whole startup life. Now he is very well established grower. Neeraj Jumnam. Any other queries? We still have a lot of time.
Sir, at initial level of hydroponics, what is the least investment can we make into commercial?
So for I'm not able to tell you the figures, the figures of the money or the rupees. What you need is you need to have the microgreen seeds, and microgreen seeds are untreated seeds. If you're talking of microgreen seeds which are locally available, there are only one or two, which are like mustard seeds or fenugreek, or must be maybe until some sort of coriander or fennel or basil. But when you're talking of the other microgreen seeds, you have to procure the microgreen seeds, which is a little difficult and rare to get, and they are little expensive, the seeds. And the system could be any sort of system which you feel will be the best and the most affordable system, but it should not leach plastic. You could use plastic trays, you could use clamshell containers. It's just flood and a drain, even manual. You can just put water from one end with a bucket, okay? Let the water retain for some time in the tray, and then you drain it off from the other end. Simple as that. Flood and drain. When you flood and drain, the water is absorbed by these by the roots, which contains the media, and because there are holes in that container or clamshell container or punnets or whatever grow media, grow container, what you're looking into. So that could be the best and the cheapest way to start. Then you can slowly commercialize it into automation by automatic irrigation timing, so that the drain goes there and it comes back. Then you need to increase the oxygenation in the water by using some sort of dissolved oxygen meters, or maybe some sort of aerators. Or if you're talking of extremely high-end produce, then you should be using ozone. Okay, you should be using ozone. Northeast India, the climate is so good, so congenial that that you could be growing any sort of crop anywhere. But the issue with growing microgreens in Northeast India, because microgreens is a very small segment of the market, it is just catching up. So this cannot be a sure short secondary income until and unless the farmer is dealing with high-end clients, high-end consumers, because this is not sold in the local market or in other markets. He has to have a direct access to the Horeca segment, hotels, restaurants, and caves. So if he has direct access to the Horeca, then he could be able to grow these microgreens, and he could do it just in his pump room. Every farmer has a room whereby he has a pump room. In the pump room, he could do this by putting in some little lights, like a tube light. He could do that. It would be very interesting for the farmers to cultivate this. But it is not done in huge scale, okay? Because we are not, the market is not ready to consume that much volumes of microgreens.
Questions? Okay, so in terms of, sir, I have one question. So market, like packing and marketing, like because it have a short shelf life, as you said. So how do we pack it and sell it, like in my huge greens, so microgreen?
See, microgreens are grown like it is. When you're talking of live microgreens, you have a shelf life. And people usually do live microgreens, because even as of now, there are lots of companies who are exporting it from countries. So by the time it reaches you, they are live microgreens, they are still alive, and they have no problems. But you're talking of local community, then the local community, suppose in your community there are few restaurants here and there, you have to go access these restaurants and tell them that you can supply microgreens, and then you grow the microgreens in your house, in your garage, in your any place, and then you supply them as fresh cut microgreens. So that's how it started off, and then they commercialize this by putting it into as live microgreens, and they could be flown in, exported anywhere.
Okay. Does they require any packing?
Yeah, it requires packing, because it comes in small punnets. So you need to have, depending on the size, it has to need a small cardboard box. Okay. The cardboard box has to have these punnets, and the punnets have to have a tray below, as I showed you, so that when it reaches the client, he also puts water in that, so that there is some sort of moisture available for the plant.
So one more questions came up.
Yeah, there are lots of DIY kits, do-it-yourself kits in the market, which could be assembled in the balcony. Yes, this is for the NFT hydroponics. but please check the authenticity of the components, because I don't think they will give you the best of the best NFT pipes to grow. They'll give you pipes which will leach a lot of plastic, maybe. And then the major components are like, the water circulation pump, pH EC controller. More than pH, it's the pH and the EC controller and aeration. Okay, so it will take care of your nutrition, of your acidity and alkalinity, and also your dissolved oxygen, your DO levels in the water. So these three components are a small few components for a DIY kit. And it comes along with, they usually also supply you with grow plugs and a few seeds. But once the grow plug sheet is finished, because it's a one-time use, then you need to again purchase a grow plug sheet, or they may also give you A and a B solution, stock solution of A and B. So that you need to put, they will give you some sort of manual that you put, some ml of this and some ml of that. So, it is okay, it is fine, it is good for a learning, it is good for understanding, and good for you to develop yourself as to, you learn by errors. Yes. I think there's
any more question? I think we have 5 minutes more, and if you any have 4 minutes to go. If anyone have query, just you can ask. Okay, I think this question and answer session went very well.
Yeah, it's interesting today.
Thank you so much, sir. Before giving this time to my colleague coordinator, Dr. N. Surmina Devi, Assistant Professor, Plant Pathology, she will be proposing the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, and a very good morning, sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee who clubbed us together for this 2 days national webinar on hydroponic technology for future startup organized by the IDP CHF CAU Pasikat. And first, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University, Imphal, Dr. Anupam Mishra, and Director of Instruction, Dr. S. Basanta Singh, our respected Dean of our college, Professor B.N. Hazarika, sir, for taking efforts to make this webinar possible and their support. And I wish to express our profuse thanks to our one and only, our resource person, Mr. K.V. Bhaskar Rao, consultant hydroponics and CEA Dubai. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your precious knowledge with all of us and giving a guidance and then encouraging our participants about the practice of this hydroponics. And I would also like to mention that this webinar will not be possible without the help of our organizing members and then the staff of the IDP NIHF also. For that, thank you so much. And I also convey thanks to all the distinguished participants from different parts. And we hope that with this training, it will give a good platform for them to become a successful young entrepreneur. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best for your future and have a good day, sir.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time and educating us on hydroponics. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And dear participant, as you all know that you are very eager to get the certificate, I highly apologize for not giving the certificate for the first 3 webinar because my SRF for one reason she has left, and now the new SRF will join next week. So all the pending certificate, including this 35th webinar. So I know that 4 webinar certificate I have not issued. I really apologize for that. I will give it as early as possible in the next week. Thank you so much for your patience and attending. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.